Sometimes I feel nostalgic for the cultural mythology of my youth. A world in which there was nothing wrong with soda pop, in which the Super Bowl was important, in which America was bringing democracy to the world, in which the doctor could fix you, in which science was going to make life better and better, and they just put a man on the moon. Life made sense. If you worked hard, you could get good grades, get into a good college, go to grad school, or follow some other professional path, and you would be happy. With a few unfortunate exceptions, you would be successful if you obeyed the rules of society, if you followed the latest medical advice, kept informed by reading the New York Times, got a good education, obeyed the law, made prudent investments. Sure, there were problems, but the scientists and experts were working hard to fix them. Soon a new medical advance, a new law, a new educational technique would propel the onward improvement of life. My childhood perceptions were part of a story in which humanity was destined to create a perfect world through science, reason, and technology. To conquer nature, transcend our animal origins, and engineer a rational society. From my vantage point, the basic premises of this story seemed unquestionable. My education, the media, and most of all, the normality of the routines around me conspired to say, everything is fine. Today, it is increasingly obvious that this was a bubble world, built atop massive human suffering and environmental degradation. But at the time, one could live within that bubble without need of much self-deception. The story that surrounded us was robust. It easily kept anomalous data points on the margins. Nonetheless, I, like many others, felt a wrongness in the world. A wrongness that seeped through the cracks of my insulated childhood. I never fully accepted what I had been offered as normal. Life, I knew, was supposed to be more joyful than this, more real, more meaningful, and the world was supposed to be more beautiful. We were not supposed to hate Mondays and live for the weekends and holidays. We were not supposed to have to raise our hands to be allowed to pee. We were not supposed to be kept indoors on a beautiful day, day after day. And as my horizons broadened, I knew that millions were not supposed to be starving, that nuclear weapons were not supposed to be hanging over our heads, that the rainforests were not supposed to be shrinking, or the fish dying, or the condors and eagles disappearing. I could not accept the way the dominant narrative of my culture handled these things as fragmentary problems to be solved, as unfortunate facts of life to be regretted, or as unmentionable taboo subjects to be simply ignored. On some level, we all know better. This knowledge seldom finds clear articulation, so instead we express it indirectly through covert and overt rebellion. Addiction, self-sabotage, procrastination, laziness, rage, chronic fatigue, and depression are all ways that we withhold our full participation in the program of life we are offered. When the conscious mind cannot find a reason to say no, the unconscious says no in its own way. More and more of us cannot bear to stay in the old normal any longer. The narrative of normal is crumbling on a systemic level, too. We live today at a moment of transition between worlds. The institutions that have borne us through the centuries have lost their vitality. Only with increasing self-delusion can we pretend they are sustainable. A system of money, politics, energy, medicine, education, and more are no longer delivering the benefits they once did, or seemed to. Their utopian promise, so inspiring a century ago, recedes further every year. Millions of us know this. More and more, we hardly bother to pretend otherwise. Yet we seem helpless to change, helpless even to stop participating in industrial civilization's rush over the cliffs. Perhaps profound change happens only through collapse. Certainly that is true for many on a personal level, but how often does anyone change without a wake-up call, or more often a series of wake-up calls? After all, our habits are embedded in a way of being that includes all aspects of life, hence the saying, you cannot change one thing without changing everything. On the collective level, the same is true. As we awaken to the interconnectedness of all our systems, we see that we cannot change, for example, our energy technologies without changing the economic system that supports them. We learn as well that all of our external institutions reflect our basic perceptions of the world, our invisible ideologies and belief systems. In that sense, we can say that the ecological crisis, like all our crises, is a spiritual crisis. encompassing all aspects of our humanity. And what exactly is at the bottom? What do I mean by a transition between worlds? At the bottom of our civilization lies a story, a mythology. A set of narratives, agreements, and symbolic systems that comprises the answers our culture offers to life's most basic questions. Who am I? Why do things happen? What is the purpose of life? What is human nature? What is sacred? Who are we as a people? Where did we come from, and where are we going? Our culture answers them, more or less, as follows. Who are you? You are a separate individual among other separate individuals in a universe that is separate from you as well. You are a Cartesian mode of consciousness looking out through the eyes of a flesh robot programmed by its genes to maximize reproductive self-interest. You're a bubble of psychology, a mind separate from other minds and separate from matter. You're a skin-encapsulated ego, a soul encased in flesh, separate from the world and separate from other souls. You are a mass, a conglomeration of particles operating according to the impersonal forces of physics. Why do things happen? Again, the impersonal forces of physics act upon a generic material substrate of fundamental particles. All phenomena are the result of these mathematically determined interactions. Intelligence, order, purpose, and design are illusions. Underneath it all is merely a purposeless jumble of forces and masses. Any phenomenon, all of movement, all of life, is the result of the sum total of forces acting upon objects. What is the purpose of life? There is no purpose, only cause. The universe is at bottom blind and dead. Thought is but an electrochemical impulse. Love but a hormonal cascade that rewires our brains. The only purpose of life, other than what we manufacture ourselves, is simply to live, to survive and reproduce, to maximize rational self-interest. Since we are fundamentally separate from each other, my self-interest is very likely at the expense of your self-interest. Everything that is not self is at best indifferent to our well-being, at worst hostile. What is human nature? To protect ourselves against this hostile universe of competing individuals and impersonal forces, we must exercise as much control as possible. We seek out anything that furthers that aim. For example, money, status, security, information, and power. All those things we call worldly. At the very foundation of our nature, our motivations, and our desires is what can only be called evil. That is what a ruthless maximizer of self-interest is. Who are we as a people? We are a special kind of animal, the apex of evolution, possessing brains that allow the cultural as well as the genetic transfer of information. We are unique in having, in a religious view, a soul, or in the scientific view, a rational mind. In our mechanical universe, we alone possess consciousness and the wherewithal to mold the world according to our design. The only limit to our ability to do so is that amount of force we can harness with the precision with which we can apply it. The more we are able to do so, the better off we are in this indifferent or hostile universe, the more comfortable and secure. Where have we come from and where are we going? We started out as naked, ignorant animals, barely hanging on to survival, living lives that were nasty, brutish, and short. Fortunately, thanks to our big brains, science replaced superstition, and technology replaced ritual. We ascended to become the lords and possessors of nature, domestic plants and animals, harnessing natural forces, conquering diseases, laying bare the deepest secrets of the universe. Our destiny is to complete that conquest, to free ourselves from labor, from disease, from death itself, to ascend to the stars and leave nature behind altogether. This is the story of separation. The old story. The answers to these questions are culturally dependent, yet they immerse us so completely that we have seen them as reality itself. These answers are changing today along with everything built atop them, which means our entire civilization. That is why we sometimes get the vertiginous feeling that the whole world is falling apart. Seeing the emptiness of what once seemed so real, practical, and enduring, we stand as if at an abyss. The story of separation crumbles around us. This is a guide from the old story through the empty space between stories and into a new story. It addresses the listener as a subject of this transition personally and as an agent of transition for other people, for our society, and for our planet. Like the crisis, the transition we face goes all the way to the bottom. Internally, it is nothing less than the transformation in the experience of being alive. Externally, it is nothing less than the transformation of humanity's role on earth. I do not offer this as someone who has completed this transition himself. Far from it. I am an ordinary man. You will therefore have to take my words on their own merits. And if my words fulfill their intention, which is to catalyze a next step, big or small, into the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible, my very ordinariness becomes highly significant. It shows how close we all are, all of us, ordinary humans, to a profound transformation of consciousness and being. If I, an ordinary man, can see it, we must be almost there. Old story, I exist independently. New story, I exist relationally. Old story, what happens to other beings or the world need not affect me because I am separate. New story, what happens to others or the world will always affect me because self and other are inseparably related. Old story, the driving force of human behavior, especially economic behavior, is to maximize rational self-interest. New story, human beings yearn to express their gifts towards something meaningful. We each have a unique and necessary gift for the world. Old story, ethical, moral, pro-social behavior requires overcoming the natural tendency towards selfishness. It requires a conquest of nature internally, waging a war against the self. Ethical, moral, pro-social behavior is a core part of human nature that expresses itself in the right conditions and can be nourished and developed. Old story, the driving force of biological behavior and evolution is the maximization of reproductive self-interest. Nature is best understood as a life or death competition, a war of each against all. New story, living beings seek not only to survive, but to express the gifts to the ecosystem and the totality of life to fulfill their role and function. The forces of nature are indifferent to humanity. The other beings of nature are indifferent or hostile to human well-being. Progress, therefore, comes through domination of nature. New story, the universe is generous. We can thrive by cooperating with the forces of nature and the rest of life. Old story, the selfish gene is the subject of evolution, which happens through random mutation followed by natural selection. New story. Symbiosis and the merger of organisms into larger wholes drives evolutionary novelty. Mutations are not random. The needs of the organism, the community, the ecosystem, the planet, and even the cosmos affect the direction of genetic and epigenetic change. Old story. Well-being comes through control of natural forces and domination of biological and social competitors. New story. Well-being comes through participation, community, intimacy, and sharing. Old story. The events and people we encounter in life are basically random. New story. Every person we encounter and everything we experience mirrors or reveals something in ourselves. Synchronicity reveals an implicit order to the world. Old story. The world outside the human is deterministic or random. It has no innate intelligence or order. Life evolved essentially by chemical accident. New story. Intelligence, order, and life are basic properties of the universe. The world is full of beings and of being. Order and complexity emerge spontaneously out of chaos. Old story. The great purpose and destiny of humanity is to bring order and intelligence to a world that has none of its own. New story. The purpose of humanity is to participate in the unfolding of life and beauty in the cosmos. Old story. Only what can be weighed, counted, or measured is real. New story. Reality has a qualitative dimension, and that will always elude reduction to quantity. Old story. The universe is like a machine, best understood by analyzing the action of mathematically describable forces on its parts. To understand something, take it apart. New story. The universe is alive. Reductionistic causal explanations cannot grasp the phenomenon of life. Emergent qualities of wholes explain the behavior of the parts. Old story. At bottom, reality consists of generic building blocks with standard properties, each identical to the other. The uniqueness of macro objects is merely the result of different permutations of the same generic building blocks. New story. Every being, even an electron, is unique. That's why each behaves differently, as with quantum acausality. Reality is the totality of the relationships among unique beings at every scale. Old story. The universe progresses inexorably towards greater entropy. The amount of usable energy is finite and ever decreasing. Scarcity is built into physics. New story. New energy and new matter are forever being born. Infinite energy is available from literally nothing. Abundance is built into physics. Old story. Consciousness is the byproduct of brain electrochemistry and ceases upon death. New story. The brain is a receiver or a seat of consciousness which outlasts the body and the brain. Old story. The soul, if it exists at all, is separate from the body, which is basically a flesh robot. New story. The body is the soul made flesh. Old story. Spirit is outside matter, either in a separate realm or not existing at all. New story. Spirit and matter are not separate. Modern society simply does not recognize many aspects of the world, casting them out of matter into a separate realm called spirit. Old story. Human life before science, technology, and civilization was a brutal struggle for survival. New story. Stone Age life was abundant in terms of diet, art, music, spirituality, leisure, and culture. Old story. Science has brought us from ignorance and superstition to true knowledge. New story. Knowledge and ways of knowing outside of science are essential to human development and practical affairs. Old story. Technology has brought us from abject helplessness to mastery over the material world. New story. Humans can develop capacities that modern technology cannot dream of, through partnership with the world rather than mastery of it. Old story. Health comes through control over the body, the genes, the environment, and human interactions. New story. Health comes through aligning our interventions with the innate intelligence of the body and bringing health to soil, water, and the rest of life. Old story. Our high-tech, scientific, developed society is more advanced than those in undeveloped parts of the world. Their progress means becoming more like us. New story. Indigenous and traditional cultures are in certain ways more highly advanced, more developed than modern society. We have much to learn from them. Old story. Nature is separate from ourselves. It is the environment containing resources for us to use. New story. Nature is part of us, and we are part of nature. Old story. The destiny of humanity is to perfect our understanding through science and control through technology, to rise above nature, leave Earth behind, conquer disease, suffering, and even death. destiny of humanity is to bring all our gifts and powers into the service of life, to create beauty and wonders, and to witness what life creates through us and around us. It starts with healing the damage done in the age of separation. How beautiful can life be? We hardly dare imagine it. Of all the things that human beings make and do for each other, it is the unquantifiable ones that contribute most. We have nearly won, it seems, the war against nature, only to find ourselves on the losing side. The tendency to do evil in the name of good hints at a problem. Every act is a prayer. The only thing we take away with us is what we give away. How beautiful can life be? We hardly dare imagine it. Every act is a prayer. The only thing we take away with us is what we give away.